Okay, so I did my American Artist on Charlie Parker, and the reason why I chose Charlie Parker was because he was, whenever he played, he was able to captivate his audience by the way he soloed and played, and inspired many young musicians at the time to play more, be better, and to be just like him. So let's start off to where Charlie Parker began.
I think it's right about there. You got it for.
So, the legendary jazz musician Charlie Parker was born in Kansas City, Kansas in 1920 of August 29th. And his parents were Charlie Parker, his name is Jr., or Charlie Parker Jr. And then his mom was Adie Parker. And his dad was an African-American stage entertainer. And his mom was a chairwoman. And he was an only child. And at the age of 7, he moved to Kansas City, Missouri. And during that time is when his father abandoned him and his mother. And to help ease the pain, his mother had given Charlie his first alto saxophone at the age of 10, and that's where his life will all start to begin.
It might not be turned on.
Oh yeah, there is.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so Charlie Parker started to discover his music through taking lessons at his public school. At his public school, he would play the baritone horn, which is like this type of saxophone, this really big saxophone. And but when he was about 15, he started playing at the local club with his alto sax. And he later then decided to pursue his musical career by leaving school and playing in these local bands. And one of the first bands he ever played in was a pianist named Jay McShane in 1938. And that's where his career would take off because he was able to tour many cities such as Chicago, New York. Those are like very popular cities. And he was also able to solo more and play a lot more. And during this time, he was given the nickname Bird, short for Yardbird, because the way he soloed he would just be like as free as a bird. And then here's a clip of one of his very first recordings with the band called Lady Be Good. So through this, Parker started to become even better and better as a musician. And as years went on, he only performed with this band for only about 4 more years, and he left to further on his career as a professional musician. And then in 1942, jazz musicians Dizzy Gillespie and Thelonious Monk saw Parker perform with Jay McShane's band in Harlem and were impressed by his unique style of playing. So in 1944, this guy named Bill X wanted Parker to be in his band, and Parker would join his band in 1944 and only play for about a year. And the year 1945 will prove a landmark for Charlie Parker's career because that's where he would start to play that's when people would start to recognize him as a professional, and that's when he started to mature more as a musician. And it was also during the time when he created his most famous songs. And one of his most famous songs, one of his most famous bebop songs, was a song called Bloom Dido. And give you a clip of that. So this was a whole new type of playing that Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker had made, which was called bop or bebop. And it's different because Charlie Parker would be able to create melodies through going to the higher octaves and just going up and down and up and down. And and then Charlie Parker was able to inspire many young musicians at the time as well, like Jimmy Heath and John Coltrane. He was able to influence them greatly, especially Jimmy Heath, because Jimmy Heath started playing as an alto sax player just like Charlie Parker, and his nickname was Little B or Little Bird, because he would try to emulate Charlie Parker in any way he could by always copying him. And here's a little video of how greatly Charlie Parker had inspired Jimmy Heath.
Between Charlie Parker and myself is John Coltrane with a cigarette in his mouth, stunned, listening to Charlie Parker, as all of us were. And that's one of the greatest moments of my life, to have Charlie Parker sit in with my band playing my saxophone. And this picture is the one that...
Yes, so Charlie Parker was a great influence to many young jazz musicians later on, as Jimmy Heath would be a very famous professional tenor sax player in the 60s. But through this, Charlie Parker, later on in his career, he would start to do heroin and drugs in the 50s, and they would catch him with heroin and the containment of it, and they would take away his playing card, which means he wouldn't be able to play in any type of band or any type of club. And then a year later, they gave him his card back, but since his reputation was already completely destroyed, no one wanted him to perform anywhere. So in 1954, Charlie Parker started decided to take his own life by drinking pneumonia, but he failed that twice. And in 1955, he was in New York in a hotel room with one of his friends, and then he got an ulcer attack. And instead of going to the hospital, he refused to go, and then he died later that day. But Charlie Parker was significant today because he would further on transformation of jazz, so I listened to it by inspiring young jazz musicians such as Jimmy Heath and Miles Davis, for them to create new styles of jazz such as fusion or cool jazz. And he still inspires many young jazz musicians today to play more and to be just like him and to play jazz and listen to jazz. Charlie Parker is still a major innovator to how jazz is still played and listened to today. And yeah.
Alright.
About 6 minutes.
About 6 minutes? Okay, that leaves you about 1 minute for questions if you want to take them.
Okay, does anyone have questions? So,
What age did you get your first sex?
11. Any more questions?
So, did you know about Charlie Parker like before you started playing saxophone, or did you learn about him after?
I learned about him after when I started playing jazz.
Oh.
When I was in 8th grade, I started playing jazz, and that's when I learned about Charlie Parker.
Oh, okay. So you've been a fan since 8th grade?
Yes.
Oh.
Maria?
Do you try to use some of his techniques in your jazz playing?
Yes. Whenever I solo, I try to emulate how he plays, how he goes into the high registers to play melodies, and how he just goes like crazy going up and down. And I try to do that in my solos.